Okay, thank you, Sheila. You know, there are so many questions to consider. The one that I think is very important that seems to dominate the discussion throughout the world, but certainly in the United States, relates to one of the slides that Dr. Zhong showed, where you have the balance between the economic considerations and the health considerations. There's a constant, understandable need to open up the country and get back to normal. I keep getting asked that question every time I give an interview, every time I have a discussion. Everyone wants to get back to some form of normality. But if one does it too quickly, and as Dr. Zhong has mentioned, what I often say, jump the gun or do it too quickly, what happens is that you can get a resurgence of infection. So the question is, what is the right balance of continuing to put stringent public health measures at the same time as you gradually open up the economy and open up the country? It's very risky. If you go too fast, you'll have a setback. If you go too slow, you have a lot of the suffering that Dr. Zhong spoke about, the mental health problems, the economic problems. It's a very delicate balance that the students need to consider how difficult that type of balance is to maintain.
Yes,
Great.
I think, yes, can I?
Yes, Dr. Zhong.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much, Sheila.
Go ahead.
So I think, Tony, your question is my question as well. I think we had the experience very long time, and then trying to get the balance about that. But in China, I think it's a little bit conservative because of the very painful experience of SARS 18 years ago. So that's a big question, the big problem. So once I have experienced the whole process of the disease. So at that time, I think once because of less of transparency and for some periods of time, so we have suffer a big problem of the outbreak of the disease. So I think that we just this time, so we should take a very strict action, the lockdown, and then the so-called in the local community and early protection and so on. But that's our experience from the event of SARS. But the point is, so we just try to step by step, so to open that and see what's happened, and then trying to do this. And that's not suddenly open. That's not the way. So this is always a controversial time for us. So, for example, we have taken a long time to think when we recover to work. That was in April. With the whole pandemics, so under control for I think like 2 months, and then without too many patients increasing. So we'll start opening that way. So that's from the very beginning. That's a very strict stipulation for the distancing, wearing masks, and so on. That's that's good for that. I think that's. I have noticed in other countries. I think so that action is not strict enough. So that will be not enough to stop the spreading of that. So I think this is something up to different countries, up to different habit of the countries, of the people.